Okay, we're on page 79 today. We're going to look at multi-step number stories, which is something that shows up a lot on your math boxes. And you're all very capable of doing these. We've talked about in the past and on other videos that the biggest challenge for you on these is how long it takes. There are a lot of steps to them. And I think what you're going to find out is that it's not so bad. So you also need to have a math notebook with a page where you can write down some of your work. Everybody good? All right, so I'm going to give you a hot sec to do that. Everybody ready? Everybody ready? Things in your math notebooks under your chair. The math journal is over here by the garbage. Oh, hey, Porter, while it's fresh on my mind because I'm looking at it, you should probably take the work from that math journal that you did and copy it over to your one where I'm going to probably be grading. I know that really stinks, but it's kind of the consequence of not remembering, you know. And it would make my life a lot easier when I go to grade those next pages next week because they'll all be in there. You know what I mean? Could you do that for me when you have some free time? Okay. And that would probably count as that time after lunch when we're doing silent reading, like catching up on work. That would probably count as that. All right, cool. All right, so we're looking at this one. You need to have a page open in your math journal or math notebook so that you're ready to write down this stuff when it's time to work. So everything to start with is here, okay? And if they give it to you in this way, A, B, C, D, I do C first. And this time it wants number model with an unknown. So I'm going to work through, how many are there on this page? Three. Okay. So I'm going to work through at least 2 of them with you. And then I'm going to make you do one on your own. And you have to get it right before you can move on. Deal? Okay. Because I don't think the actual math part of it's hard. I think it's just steps and like wanting to get done super fast. So I start on C. I write my number model first. And we've talked about why. Who remembers why we sometimes start with our number model? Why do I say to start with your number model, Porter? Okay, that's one reason. That is a good reason because then it's there for you when you need to solve it. You can use your number model and you don't have to remember it. There's another reason, and that's a very important reason. I shouldn't gloss over that. Braden, what's another reason I say to write your number model first? What can you do with it? We write it over. What do you mean? I think you might have the right idea here. Help them out, Hadley. Yeah, we use this to help us change the numbers a little bit to do our estimate. So it says each day a company delivers newspapers to the town of Wayland. Is there anything in there that I need? One thing that I talked to you about when we're crafting the claim and finding evidence, look, I'm tying subject matter together, is to take things sentence by sentence. Each day a company delivers newspapers to the town of Wayland. Anything important there? No, not mathematically speaking. It's like part of the story. There you go. Gone. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not important. I'm not telling you you need to cross it out. But what I am telling you, I'm just doing that visually to tell you, I don't have to worry about that. It has 158 customers on the north side of town, 378 customers on the west side of town, and 270 customers on the south side of town. The company receives 900 newspapers to deliver. How many will be left over? Okay, so in order to find what's left over, let's break this down. We have 900. What do we need to do to solve this? Talk with a partner, shoulder partner of some sort. If you don't have a shoulder partner, go find a group. Like Chase, you're going to have to probably find somebody to chat with. All right. Ava, what do we got to do? Excellent. 900 minus that number. Now, the funny thing about this is when you write your number model, you have to write the last step first in this case, which is the subtraction. Because if you write the 900 at the end, it's not going to look right. It's going to confuse you. You guys understand what I mean? Or do you need me to do an example? So we're starting with 900 papers, right? And we're subtracting. This is the best way to do it. Put a parenthesis. See if you can finish the number model with unknown. We've done this before, yes? Mm-hmm. What should I put down, Rajan? Give me one thing. 378, you said? Okay. 378. Then what? What comes next? Braylon. Okay. Plus 237. Plus, what are we missing here, Chase? I got this 378. I got this 237. What am I missing? 158. Very good. And then I need that parenthesis at the end because we do what's in the parentheses first. Am I done?
No.
What am I missing?
No.
So I need this to have an unknown. Sometimes what I like to do, and if the letter permits, here I'm talking about newspapers. So there's my unknown. I made mine an M. Could it be a lowercase n?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be an A? Could it be a B?
Yeah.
C? Doesn't matter.
No.
Not really, as long as I know it's a letter. We talked about some letters we shouldn't use, and we don't really need to go into that just right now. Just make sure it's a letter, okay? Why do they do this? Because it's getting you ready to see letters in your math when you do algebra and higher level mathematics, algebra, geometry, calculus, physics, those types of things. You'll have variables. These are called, when you get older, they're not called unknowns, they're called variables. Okay, so now the next step is to do our estimate. If they give us a nice round number like this to start with, do we need to change that?
No.
Your estimate is going to look the exact same as this, except we're going to slightly change
Numbers.
these numbers, okay? Making sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do I start with? Help me, class. 900 minus parentheses. Okay, looking at 378. We have to make a decision. We're looking at what we have here. Yeah. Because we wrote them out of order, and that's fine. Does it matter the order we write them in?
No.
Not particularly. This is where you have to make a decision. How close do you want to get? If you want to stay fairly close, then I'd round to the nearest 10. If you're not worried about that, I'd round to the nearest 100 or 50. because 50s and 100s are easy to deal with. So for this one, let's say we want to stay fairly close. 378. What would we round 378 to if we wanted to keep things pretty close? Maddie. Very good. That's what I would do. 380. Plus. Elizabeth.
Probably 160.
Okay, we're
Oh, no,
going down our
that
line.
one, 140.
Very good. That's what I would do. And the last one. Delia. That's what I would do if I wanted to keep it close, which we do. Okay, now we're going to leave that answer blank because we actually need an estimate. Yes? Macy, what's your question? You're trying to balance it out, and that's fine. Because we were going to talk about this once we get an estimate and answer. We were going to talk about how to conceptualize this. So now, first step, write your number model with unknown. Second step, write your number model for your estimate. Now, I understand this takes some time, right? But it's going to go faster when we're not doing it together because you guys will be able to not explain it to me. You'll just be able to do it. Does anybody have any questions how to do this? Okay. Now, what is our next step? Talk with a partner. What is your next step to solving this? Okay, what do we do next? Blake, what do we got to do next? And which one? Yeah, now we got to add up our estimate. So this is where, even if you're doing this in your math journal, everyone look, everyone, I need everyone. Even if you're doing this in your math journal, there is not enough room in the box on a math box to do this work. Is anyone confused by what I just said?
No.
You should use scratch paper or your notebook to do this work because writing down this is important. In fact, I would say it's imperative, which imperative means is a fancy way of saying it is necessary. It needs to be done. Because when you don't write things down, that's when you get them wrong. So here's what I would do. And if I would do it, generally it's a pretty good idea. 380, 240, 160. What did I do? Somebody noticed something that I did there. What's something very, very, very important that I did? And I just take for granted because I do it all the time. Parker, what did I do that's very, very important to you? I lined up my place value. Very, very, very important. If something makes life easier for you, why wouldn't you do it, even if it takes a little bit of time? Lining up the place values makes adding easier. It may take you time to do that, but if it makes it easier, why wouldn't you? There used to be these commercials on TV where this guy would sit down with kids and he would go, what's easier, making things easier or making things harder? And then the kids would answer and they'd answer something adorable or hilarious. And they were awesome because it was like doing a focus group. But he'd be like, what's better, doing something easier or doing something harder? And the kids would go, doing something easier because if it's easier, And I think it was for like AT&T, but they were awesome commercials. I absolutely loved them. And that's what I'm asking you guys. Like, it's an obvious answer, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So now, add these in your notebook. How many of you, is there anybody in here that thinks adding three-digit numbers is too hard for them? Is there anybody that cannot do that in here? So I'll come help you. You can do it this way. We're going to do it. I'll come over and sit by you and do it. All right, go for it. All right, here we go. Ready? Yeah, you already got this one done, right? Oh, you already added it. This is all I want you to do. Just hold up. We'll do this in a minute. You're ahead of the game. Oh, wow. You told me you didn't know how to add three-digit numbers, but you were already done. What a good joke. April Fools.
It's a maple.
Okay, so here we go. Draw on a couple sticks. Macy, add my ones column. This shouldn't take that long. It's taking way too long. Thank you. Yeah, it took you way too long. Gavin. Okay, here's what I do. Gavin, you're absolutely right. Here's how I look at it. Watch. I look for groups of 10. 4 plus 6 is
10.
8 more is 18. What goes up here, Gavin?
1.
Gavin, what goes up here? Because it's not 18. It's 18 10s, which would be 180. You guys see that? Look, there's the 80. And I took this 100 and I put it over here. Yes? Okay. Braxton, my hundreds.
7.
Several?
7.
Yes, we do have several hundreds.
7.
Okay. 3 plus 2 is 5. Plus 1 more is 6. We had this extra one up here. That's 7. We're at 780. Now we have to take, this is it. This is the final step of your estimate. I would write this down. We take 900 and subtract 780. Again, I line up my place values. Again, when you subtract, if you can write it so your place values are lined up, it makes it 100% easier. And if it's easier, why wouldn't you do it? Is there anybody who doesn't think that they can do this kind of subtraction? Because I will come help you. Or we'll do it together. You want to do it together one time?
No.
Because I'll explain it to you. I'll even get the base 10 blocks to show people that are a little confused. Well, if there's more than one of you that don't think you can do it, then I need to probably do it together. How many people are a little confused with how to subtract this? Anybody else? Be brave. Okay, then I'll come help the one person that raised their hand. Subtract. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we know. If you got 900, you have 0 10s and 0 1s, so we have to get some 10. You don't have to do anything with the ones are done, but we have to get 10. So what do? Drop that out with the fun. Yeah. Now, if you took away 100, how many 10s are in 100? So this becomes 10 10. So 10 minus 8 and 7. All right, here we go. Doing the ones column. Danielle, do the ones column. This is taking way too long, Danielle. Ones column. Thank you. I knew you could do it. I always believed in you. Mackenzie, now we got to do the 10s. Can we do this?
No.
So what do?
You add the 1 to the 10 and cross out the 9 and make it an 8.
First is to cross out the 9 and make it an 8. We have to take away 100. If we take away 100, we're adding how many 10s? It's 10 10s. So that's why we're making this into a 10. because 100 is 10 tenths, right? So now what do we get here, Mackenzie? Is what? Try that again.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Okay. I can't help you on that. If you make a mistake adding or subtracting, you get your numbers out. But if I see the process is right, I grade that a little differently. Okay, in the hundreds place, Autumn, you might be on mute.
A1.
Okay, so your estimate then is
120.
120. Now, normally they'd want you to put a label there. I don't care as long as you have it here. And they're doing it for you. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, guys and gals, I meant guys isn't like humankind, all you peoples. Now it's the same exact process, but with the actual numbers. Add, then take that number and subtract it from 900. So, because I don't know how much space I have on the board, my bag is right here. I'm going to erase our estimate because we're done with it. First step, 378 plus 237 plus 158. Go ahead and add those. This time you're not going to get so lucky if you have to add or subtract the ones column. Macy. Okay. Keep looking then. You can always check it when we have it done. 8 and 8 is 16. 16 plus 7 would be 23. Where does the 2 go, Macy? Because it's like 23 would be 2 10s and 3 1s. Yes? Very good. Doing our 10s column, Danielle. Try that again. Not just the 7. 17. What stays here? Because it's 17 10s. Where does that 10 10s go? And it's a 1 because 10 10s is 100. Very good. And the hundreds column. Mackenzie. Okay. Try that again. Thank you very much. All right, 773. Now what do? We need to subtract. So we're going to do 900 minus 773. Go ahead. This is where regrouping becomes kind of difficult because there's multiple zeros. You did perfect. 9 minus 3, 9 minus 7, 8 minus 7. You got it. You're good. Beautiful. Okay. Let's do that. Can you use another pencil for right now? We can search high and low after the room. You're gonna see if it's right, so we're gonna check it in just a second. Hey, tell me what to do first. Elizabeth, help us regroup. Explain the regrouping.
So you need to cross out the 9.
I crossed out the 900.
And make it an 8.
Now it's 800.
And then put a 1 in front of the 0.
Because now it's 10 tens, because that's 100, right?
And then you also need to cross that out. And then make that a 9.
Because now it's 90. I've taken 10 away.
Yeah. And then.
Then where do I put that 10?
You would put it in front of the last 0.
Mackenzie, I kind of lied to you. It should be a 10 here. You don't need to cross it out. That's my fault. I messed up on that.
And then
Okay. Now you did your part. You did a very good job. Mackenzie, do you see why you don't have to cross out that last 10? Because you don't have to regroup to the next place value. Gavin, you go to ones place. Yep, 10 minus 3 is 7. Do the tens place. Maddie. Put a 2 there. And do the ones place Braylon. 100 place, sorry. Excellent. So your answer here is 127. Okay, now they want you to explain how you know your answer is reasonable. I'm going to model. So that's where you're going to want to listen. I'm going to model what I would write. I'm not going to probably write it all because writing on the smart board is kind of like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. Imagine if you were trying to scoop water with a bucket with a hole in it. Yeah, it's a fruitless endeavor because writing on the smart board for sentences is hard because it has to go to the spot. Yeah, what's up, Julia? You could, or something similar after I model it. So look, here's what I realized. My estimate is 120. My answer is 127. It's only 7 out, right? So I have some people that aren't listening to my modeling, and it's probably some people that could maybe use this. They may be like, I get it. But they're also ones that sometimes don't always like to go that full length. So another reason I'm modeling is not just so that you know what to do, but I'm also modeling my expectation of what I expect from you to write. And if it's less than that, or not close to this, when this happens on an assignment, now even if on the assignment it just says, is your answer reasonable, or whatever it says about the estimate, you still need to give me a little explanation. You can't just write yes or no anymore. Everyone nod your head if you heard what I said. If you don't give me an explanation, yes, it's reasonable because, or no, it's reasonable because, I'm probably going to take a point. Because it's important to be able to explain. So not only am I doing this so that you know what to do, I'm also modeling this so that you know what I'm expecting. So not listening would make that very hard to know what I'm expecting, yes? Yeah. All right, so here we go. Rajan, what's up before I model? Write small. You can sneak it in there. Usually they give you a line, and then there's a little space under the line in the box that you can write a little more. Okay? I'm not asking for, guys, I'm not asking for you guys to write me a dissertation. A dissertation is like, I don't even know, it's longer than the paper that I had to write for my master's, but it's what you do when you're getting your doctorate in something. You write this really long paper. I'm not asking you to write me a dissertation. I'm asking you to write me one sentence. Yes, because. Is that unreasonable? Okay, so here I go. I'm going to model. Yes, my estimate is reasonable. Yes, my answer is reasonable. Because my answer is only 7 more than that. I added to each of the numbers, so it should be a little bit bigger. Isn't that what I did? I added 2, I added 3, and I added 2. It should be a little bit bigger, shouldn't it? That's all I'm asking. What? But yours is going to be different because you said you dropped this by 7. You dropped it by 7 and you added 4. Yours should be actually smaller if you did it that way. It should be 3 smaller. Yes. Good connection. Go ahead and write your explanation. If I give you 3 minutes, is that enough?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 minutes. I'm setting the timer. What do you guys want to watch at lunch? Do you guys want older Scooby-Doo, or do you want puppy Scooby-Doo? Okay. We can't. I'm hearing a mix, so we'll just have to vote after we're done with math. Because I brought a pup named Scooby-Doo home because my daughter likes to watch that, so I don't have a Scooby. And I'd have to grab it when I go let my dog. And frankly, I don't care because I'll just be eating and really working. Well, unlike some of you, I'm able to multitask. I can work and do it.
Actually, we're always multitasking because you're breathing and blinking.
However, you're breathing and you're blinking and like you're digesting. That's all handled by your sympathetic muscle or your involuntary muscles. So like you don't have to think to make your heart. Yeah, in breathing, you can control your breathing if you think about it. Yeah. But when you're just working, it's being controlled by involuntary muscles. Voluntary muscles are ones. Yeah, I would say most of that's like your lungs, like the things that make your lungs breathe and your eyes blink, you can control. But when they're just functioning on their own, they're being run by your sympathetic nervous system, which your sympathetic nervous system runs all of the things that you don't have to think about.
Well, it's impossible to be not multitasking because you're sitting while staring at something.
Well, you don't really have to do anything when you're sitting either. You don't have to think about stay sitting, stay sitting, stay sitting. Gravity just keeps you rooted to that wobble scale.
Well, technically, I'm still doing something. Yeah, well, watch it.
The difference is you have to be able to use your mind doing multiple things. Like sitting doesn't necessarily mean multitasking. Yeah, but that all works together. Okay, you guys don't understand. I'm not going to get into it right now. It's too much. Okay, so here we go. I'd like to hear some of your explanations. I don't have time to hear all of them. Autumn, let's hear your explanation. You may be muted.
Mine says yes because my estimate is only 7 off. I also added 2 to 378 and added 3 to 237 and I added 2 to 158.
Excellent. Now, I think yours is excellent, and I think that you could have even shortened it, and I would have been okay with it. You could have said something along the lines of, I made each of the numbers bigger, so it makes sense that my estimate is bigger. Then you're not saying, I added this, and I added this, and I added this. You can just summarize. Chase, let's hear yours. Yes, yes, Chase. Okay, and I would like to see you go a little bit farther to say, I made the original numbers bigger, so it makes sense my estimate's bigger. Now, for like yours, Macy, for yours, you could say, I subtracted more from the numbers I was adding than I added to it, so it should be small. Now, that's the next step. That's the next step that we want to do. All right. So now you guys are going to start on the second problem on your own. If you guys do well on this, you got to get number 2 right, and then we'll maybe move on looking at time. So maybe we can get to core samples. It says estimate and write a number or model to show work. Solve the multi-step story problem. The following are populations from the 2010 census. Actually, I want to see which one I want you to do. Yep, this is the one I want you to do. So this one, you got to use some bigger numbers. New Hyde Park Village, Old Bethpage, Oyster Bay, Wading River, and Rivertown. So they want to know how many more people live in Riverhead Town than these other ones. They're a little bit bigger numbers, but it's just adding and subtracting. It's the same basic process. Understand? All right, get to work. And when you're done, I will check it.
Do we add all of the other towns together?
It's the exact same process.